Trump's second term is poised to begin under a cloud of crisis, one that will test his leadership from the very start. After weeks of planning a dramatic inauguration, Trump will face the challenge of raging wildfires in Los Angeles that threaten to overshadow his big moment in office. His team, eager to avoid the pitfalls of his first term, is set to move quickly on key issues, including border reforms, tax cuts, and oil exploration incentives. They also plan to sign a series of executive orders early in his second term, with a ceremonial Oval Office signing scheduled for Monday, followed by 3 presidential balls that evening. Even if the fires are largely under control by Inauguration Day, the need for billions in federal aid to rebuild the destruction presents a significant hurdle. This challenge could complicate Trump's agenda, especially with a slim GOP majority in the House, focused on reducing federal spending. Trump's quick move to blame Democrats and progressive environmental policies for the crisis shows his reluctance to support federal funding for California, a state that is heavily Democratic, in the early days of his presidency. Trump, however, is reportedly considering a trip to Los Angeles early in his term to meet with California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, both of whom have already been blamed for the disaster. This visit could allow Trump to project himself as a problem solver, positioning himself as a contrast to what he describes as the failures of progressive governance. The devastation caused by the wildfires could also serve as a reminder to Trump of the daunting challenges faced by those who have lost their homes. Speaking to Newsmax, Trump described the damage in Los Angeles as far worse than it appeared on television, showing a level of concern for the victims. The idea of leading a massive reconstruction effort seemed to appeal to his background as a real estate developer. While presidential visits to disaster areas can offer comfort and mobilize resources, they also highlight the president's commitment to managing a complex and costly recovery effort. Trump's advisor confirmed that a visit to California is planned, though the timing remains uncertain. The wildfires will be a personal test for Trump's leadership, as they challenge his ability to be a president for all Americans. In his first term, Trump occasionally hinted at using disaster aid as a bargaining tool against Democratic-led states, like his criticism of Puerto Rico's leaders during hurricane relief efforts. His approach was also questioned during the COVID-19 pandemic, when his response appeared influenced by political concerns. Even before the wildfires in California, Trump had threatened to withhold federal aid unless specific water management reforms were implemented by Governor Newsom. This strategy of using federal funds to force policy changes could backfire, as it risks creating further political turmoil. While investigations into local officials' preparation for the wildfires may reveal mistakes, it's still too early to determine the full cause of the devastation. Trump has often amplified misinformation on social media, which could hinder his efforts to secure federal aid for those affected. His claim that progressive policies caused the fires is unfounded and could lead to controversy, especially if it results in withholding aid from those in need. The ongoing disaster also puts California officials in a difficult position, particularly Governor Newsom, who must navigate his relationship with Trump carefully. In a letter to Trump, Newsom warned against politicizing the tragedy, stressing the importance of working together for the recovery. He called for a focus on ensuring that the displaced Americans receive the help they need without the interference of political gamesmanship. As the fires continue and the political fallout spreads to Washington, House Speaker Mike Johnson has sparked outrage with his suggestion of conditioning disaster aid to California. Johnson hinted that state and local leaders had been negligent in handling the crisis and proposed attaching conditions to the aid package. While he emphasized that it was his personal view, the suggestion that California's aid could be tied to other political issues has angered Democrats. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have criticized Johnson's remarks, with Florida Representative Jared Moskowitz warning that such actions could set a dangerous precedent. Moskowitz argued that conditioning disaster aid would lead to partisan battles in the future, citing the possibility of Democrats doing the same to Florida and Texas. New York Rep. Gerald Nadler also condemned the proposal, stressing that disaster relief should never be used as a bargaining chip, particularly in the wake of a tragedy. The debate over the disaster aid for California underscores the deepening political divide in Washington and the delicate balance that will define Trump's second term.